everybody? It's Brandon coming back with another real discussion. So today we are going to talk about the American dream. Now the American dream is this idea that if you work hard, you're able to have a measure of success in life. And there's all sorts of debates and things out there of, it's not possible to do it with your own bootstraps. Nobody became rich or successful or anything like that without stepping over the backs of other people. But the interesting thing about the American dream is that over the years, it's kind of evolved from what it used to be. See, and so it's become unattainable, not because the idea of the American dream is alive, but because we've moved the bar. So the American dream used to be, house in the suburbs, picket fence, some savings, couple of vacations every year. And we've altered that to, rich, go around the world vacations, yachts, luxury cars, things like that. So it's not that the dream itself is unattainable, it's that we've moved the dream from a dream to a fantasy. And that's what we have to change in America in order to get people's focus not on that 1% of 1% that you see on the news or you see on TV, but in something attainable for the average American. But let's talk about success, because success is generally in this country tied to wealth. And if you've been on social media anytime in the last few years, you've probably seen a meme or a Facebook post that goes a little something like this. If you worked X amount an hour at $20-something an hour, even if you worked for 1,000 years, you would not be a billionaire. Billionaires are evil people. It's kind of a stupid, and it's really a false dichotomy, because working hard, oddly enough, is not why people are wealthy. It's not why people are, billionaires. Now, they may have worked harder than someone else. And certainly in a lot of cases, they made sacrifices and gambles that other people did. But what makes Jeff Bezos wealthy, just to use him as an example, is not that he works harder. He owns the means of production. And that is the difference between people who are workers and people who own means of production. And if you want to be wealthy in this country, that's really the only way to do it. So if you really break it down, every wealthy person you've ever seen has owned the means of their production. So if you think about it, an athlete. Athletes get paid a lot of money because they are the only ones with enough talent to do that particular position. Their body, their skill is their means of production. Jeff Bezos, to go back to that, does not make money because of his job as CEO of Amazon. His money comes from the fact that he started this company, it blew up, and now independent of anything that he does, he could sit at home, with his feet up, chewing on some nachos, and he would still collect money. Because it's not about how much he works, it's about the revenue streams that he has in. And if you watch YouTube and you talk to financial people, they will tell you that that is the secret to financial security and for financial success. The more streams of income that you have, and the more that aren't dependent on your 9 to 5, the better off that you are going to be. And if there's one thing that this COVID-19 nonsense has told you, is that there's a lot of people who seem better off than they really are. So I'll use me and my wife for example. Now, we've been blessed. We're fortunate. And together, we make together a pretty good income. 6 figures. And that sounds all well and good, although when you have the bills that come with that, it's not as nice as it sounds, but you're still beholden to a job. So if I lose my job, or if I don't work, or like the COVID-19, where you had all these people that were making all this money, and then suddenly they were furloughed or whatever, and then they found like, hey, I can't make my house payment. Hey, I don't, I was making this salary, but now I have nothing. And it's even more dangerous the higher your salary is, because when you go down in pay, so if you're making 6 figures, the amount of jobs that pay 6 figures are relatively limited. And so if you lose that 6-figure job, you still got 6-figure job bills. That's why no matter how much somebody is making per hour, you could be, a mechanic. You're making $30, $40 an hour. You're still beholden to the markets around it. Wealth is different than that. Wealth is you have so many different revenue streams that, you may go down in net worth, but you still have money coming in. You're not dependent on one stream. And if you look at the successful companies, the ones that are our biggest and most successful companies, they are successful because of their multiple revenue streams. Amazon is successful not because they do books like they originally started out doing, but because they do everything. Look at Google. Google isn't just a search engine. Google owns other companies. They've diversified. And those are the people that you see that are successful. And of course, the people who own these companies are the ones you see with all this money. But being wealthy, I think shouldn't be the goal. But if being wealthy is your goal, it requires you to think outside of the box. It requires you to sit down and look and say, okay, what are my options? Do I create a company? Do I have a skill that I can do on the side? Do I invest? Do I have a hobby? And so when you look at this idea of the American dream isn't that everybody's going to get this. The idea is that everyone has an opportunity to do so. They just have to find their opportunity, and they have to seize it. Does it happen for the majority of people? No, it does not. But there is a chance. And there's a chance for you to do it not by yourself, but by your own will. And that's really important. So you hear people say about, hey, it's not possible for someone to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But it depends on what you mean. Because pulling yourself up by your bootstraps to me means that, hey, I came up with the idea, I put the time in, I put the work in, I believed in myself when nobody else believed in me, and then I'm going to reap the benefits of that. But if you look at the people, let's look at billionaires, as I was talking about those earlier, all of them started out, a lot of them started out, not all of them, a lot of the more famous ones started out with a dream that everyone else thought was crazy. To me, one of the most inspiring things, if you look at the old picture of Jeff Bezos, where he's in that small little cramped room, and he has Amazon.com written on it, and I think marker, and people was like, hey, no, you're not going to be able to do it. What your idea is crazy. Look at the guy who created Netflix. You had Blockbuster. People, y'all may not remember that, you young kids. Blockbuster was king. They were everywhere. And then Netflix came out and said, hey, I think we can do this. I think we can send DVDs to people's houses. We're going to eliminate the fees that people are being charged. And people looked at him and said, you know what, that's crazy. But they believed anyway. They worked hard anyway. They found investors. They found family members who were like, you know what, I believe in you and I'm going to invest. And to me, that is pulling yourself up by your bootstrap. That is what that really means in this country, is that you have the belief in yourself and the willingness to work it when nothing else seems like it's going to work out. When people are doubting you, when you start to doubt yourself and you stay the course. And the idea, this leftist idea that people can do that they can make those gambles, make those sacrifices, and yet somehow they don't deserve to reap the benefits of the seed that they planted, is asinine. That mindset isn't just for people who want to be billionaires or millionaires. That is the mindset that is the secret to success. See, you can't legislate people into success. You can't legislate people out of poverty. It has to be a choice that they make to, hey, I'm not going to be stuck at the bottom of this job. I'm going to take a chance and try another company. Or I'm going to try to learn some skills and I'm going to try to move up. I'm going to make bets on myself and my ability. And if you have people that's like, man, I can't risk that, or I don't want to risk that, that doesn't make them bad people, but it means that they will never get the lifestyle that they're wanting to have. The American dream is there for everyone that has the talent, the will, and the work ethic to make it happen. It may take a year, may take 6 months, may take 30 years. But it's there. It's possible for the people who are willing to believe in themselves. And if you don't believe me, look at the people that you see, right? Look at your celebrities. Look at your actors, your actresses, your comedians. Hell, even your politicians in some case. All of them started from somewhere. All of them had people who said, you can't do it. What you're doing makes no sense. And all of them had to believe in themselves and put in the work. Some of them got lucky. Some of them, just worked at it until they made a niche from themselves. But it is there for everyone. And it's important, like everything else that you will hear us talk about on this channel, that we have self-responsibility to take control of our own destiny.